just be realistic. They have to just accept the reality that Jamaica had declined. It's not pleasant to hear, it's not pleasant to see, but if you look at what happened with the men after Usain Bolt exited, it fell apart. Welcome back to another video on the World Relays 2025 highly anticipated event. It exposed a lot of things. As a Jamaican fan, it exposed a lot of things that we could keep talking about for a very long time. First of all, Jamaican fan base, it's time that we accept the fact that Jamaica is now probably in a silver or bronze era. You remember the time when Usain Bolt was there and it was the golden era? Yes, we are in either silver or bronze, or we are in a qualifying era right now. Every event that we are experiencing now is just highlighting the fact that we had declined. We are not in a decline, we had declined. If we remove Usain Bolt from the Jamaican track and field history, we would literally have nothing to talk about. Very little to talk about. We'd still have the women. Yes, from the men's side, we would have literally nothing to talk about. With the exception of the silver from, the double silver from Johan Blake and Kishane Silver in the 100 meters. It's nothing to talk about. Now, if you look at this World Relays, the Jamaican team, they are excellent for marketing, that big bright yellow and green popping up on your screen, and those emotional figures in the Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, the Johan Blake, Shericka Jackson, all of them big, bold and presentable. A lot of people are just enthusiastic, thinking about the fact that Jamaica could go out there and represent highly. Now, what really happened out there on the track? It always leaves us disappointed. It left us disappointed for a very long time. Think about the last Olympics. The last Olympic, Jamaica went home with a single gold medal, and it came from the field. The Jamaican government didn't even applaud the individual athlete who won that gold medal. Just think about the simple fact that the Jamaican fan base are as critical as they come, and we are still ignoring the fact that these athletes are not necessarily patriotic anymore, because even if these athletes fail at the World Relays or the World Championship or even at the Olympics, these athletes are better off running a Diamond League race, or no, you have the Grand Slam track, or just better off representing their sponsor, showing up at the event. You can just imagine some of these athletes who are sponsored by a major brand, the kind of appearance fee that they get just to be a part of that brand, just showing up at an event. These athletes really don't need to run for Jamaica, and that's part of the biggest problem that we're experiencing right now. We could talk about the various problems, okay? We could talk about the simple fact that the athletes are not changing over their batons properly, and they're not getting the baton around. Because let's say that you are making you're shaving off seconds by with a poor baton change. If you get the baton around, you still have an opportunity. Even a repechage round, opportunity is there for you to qualify still. No, based on what I'm understanding is that while the country may not be able to participate in a top prize at the World Relays, all athletes, all teams will get an opportunity to run a second time, to get qualifying time. So the Jamaican team is not all done and dusted yet. They still have an opportunity to get that qualifying time for the World Championship, and it's right now it is May. Then we have June and July. The World Championship is just around the corner. It's nothing far away, and Jamaica is making the effort to get this out of the way. And one more thing that we should take note is that we cannot blame the J3A this time around. The J3A just took their names out of everybody's mouth. You know, usually it would be like the J3A is not supporting the team. You know, not this time around. They were there days ahead, doing baton changes and trying out and stuff, and failure. And even with the one sweet little success that we saw from, all right, maybe two, let's say two, the success that we saw from the mixed relays 4x1, and the success we saw from the females 4x1, it was riddled with mishaps. Still, the baton changes are not necessarily anything special. We saw with the USA, where they qualified with a winning time, with a winning run. in that final change over to TT Terry, I think that's her name. The incoming athlete had to hold on to her hand just to make sure that she accepted that baton and continue the race. These are some of the plan B action that some of the coaches will need to instill into the athletes, because these athletes are not as motivated or as patriotic as one might think. A lot of people are giving Yohan Blake a lot of flagging for what had happened today, but Yohan Blake, in my eyes, is as patriotic as they come. He's a patriotic athlete. He's not just, and again, he's doing it for the love. He might be way beyond his time, or well beyond his time, and it is so unfortunate that the mishap happened and his changeover. But it was such that race would have been such a enthusiastic finish, because Yohan Blake on the third leg had ran one of the best legs in the history of relays, you know, and going into the wonder kid, the new kid on the block, the Kishane Thompson that everybody is anticipating seeing, it would have just been something special. Not to be, didn't happen. And there are various things that we must just pay attention to, like the MVP athletes at the moment are some of the best athletes out of Jamaica, you know, one of the best coaching staff in my opinion, but the athletes representing for the MVP are not known to run down an athlete in a relay. Shericka Jackson is not necessarily the athlete that you would expect to run down an athlete and catch them. She's the athlete that will run away from you, but not to run you down. Kishane Thompson, I haven't seen Kishane Thompson run from behind and pass somebody yet. I haven't seen it. He's the athlete that you must catch. He has the MVP athletes. They have the start and the finish to go with it, but they are not the type of athlete that will run you down and catch you. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is a different kind of athlete. She will run you down. She will catch you. Yes, a former MVP athlete, but she has a history of running you down and catching you and passing you. I haven't seen this from Shericka Jackson before. I've never seen it from a Kishane Thompson. I've seen it from a sizeable in relays. But in a regular flat 100, a sizeable is the athlete that get the better start, and as soon as you catch up to him, he gives up. That's the legacy that I've seen with a lot of the MVP athletes. And one of the biggest legacy from the MVP athletes is that they are the winners of the country. They are the ones that keep the country on the map. But this is one of the flaws that we have seen and that I have seen. I have to just highlighting it here. The athletes that are anchoring, they need to have that killer instinct, the kind of instinct that they will track you down, pass you, and just let the country feel that victory. But if you all are honest, a lot of us are saying that, you know what, Yohan Blake is to be blamed. Some would be saying that Julian Ford should be blamed, because Julian Ford going into Yohan Blake, he should have made sure that his hand was, he put the baton right plumped in his hand, right? A lot of people can blame a lot of people. Some people would say that, you know what, us making these comments about the athletes without being positive are actually the reason why they are losing. You know, so they know the blame. They're blamed to go all around. But one thing I don't think you can blame this time around is J3A. They were there, they were on time, and they had the people them running up and down early. They brought out the big guns. They brought Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. That's as big as it gets. However, we are still not seeing Jamaica putting together a good relay, a good changeover, a good execution on the day. I'm sure that they have made a lot of blunders in training, and they're like, you know what, we'll get it right on the day. But we haven't seen it yet. The 4x1 was a lot of things can be said about it, especially the 4x1 men, but the 4x4, oh my lord, the 4x4, it looked like it was a glorified training day. This was one massive trip to China with a lot of people who is considered to be professionals acting a little bit amateurish, looking like they were a bit tired. That first leg on the 4x4 women, it was a little bit exhausting to watch, because the athlete looked a little exhausted before the race and after. No, the third leg handoff, oh my goodness, that was a that was a jog. That was a simple jog to the finals. That was insane. You're talking about a qualifying run, a powerhouse of a team like Jamaica coming in dead last. You're talking about a powerhouse of a team running against qualifiers, and they come in dead last. And I'm talking about all the baton went around the track, and Jamaica came in last. Now Jamaica finished fourth in the men's mix, in the men's 4x4. It looked like a difficult race for Jamaica in the 4x400, but I think to give some kind of credit to the Jamaican men on that third leg, they've made up a lot of ground and they were in the race. I think they got themselves back to around that second place spot. But towards the end, countries that are not known to be among the best in the world where sprinting is concerned, right? These countries, they ended up running past Jamaica, winning on the day, and causing Jamaica to look like a complete amateur group. Unbelievable. Totally insanity. But again, these are professional athletes who have been training for many years, upwards of 10 years, and representing out there on the track. We're just observing what's happening, but knowing the reality of track and the field. A lot of these countries, they had caught up to Jamaica. They had caught up, some of them past Jamaica. If we're talking about the relays, some of these countries are professional relay teams. They will win against some of the best in the world. Just look at Japan. They produced a world leading time equaling a spectacular run from South Africa. Jamaica being the powerhouse that they are, people respect you by just the simple fact that you are in the yellow, gold and green. And the quality athletes that Jamaica have and the quality result that we are seeing. And don't be surprised if you start seeing these results in the individual races as well. We have started to see it. While some people may give it a pass and said, you know what, this run was just a simple run that is not the big day. We can wait to see what will happen on the big day. We had seen it in training, we had seen it on the big day, and we had seen it consistently. In the last Olympics, we saw one gold medal, unprecedented in recent times, and it came from the field. We had seen several high quality medals as well, silver medals from the field. The lone silver medal from the track came from Kishane Thompson, who was literally out of nowhere. At the start of the year, nobody knew who Kishane Thompson was until he popped out at the I think it was at trials, and demolished the field, and the world saw what was possible, and everybody went into training to beat him, and they did. Right? They did at the end of the day. So a lot of people would have to, at this point, just be realistic. They have to just accept the reality that Jamaica had declined. It's not pleasant to hear, it's not pleasant to see, but if you look at what happened with the men, after Usain Bolt exited, it fell apart until we got a glimmer of hope from Kishane Thompson. Then that's it. We haven't seen a complete race from Kishane Thompson since the Olympic finals, but we have seen some snippets of what's possible, and we are now living off the fumes of possibility and not necessarily the reality of what's happening. I want to hear from you guys. Drop your comments down below and let me know how you feel about this one. Rewrite the narrative. Like and share. Subscribe.